All right, welcome to part 2 of lesson 1. So we're going over the main core problems. Hopefully this will be a fairly short video and we'll just be able to wrap up what we started in our last video. So core problem number 5, cutting across all of the different policy sectors, is of course improving affordability and access to social programs. There are a lot of programs that are provided within each of the different core sectors, and unfortunately, what we find is that a lot of them are too expensive for a lot of people to use. And while there may be things like sliding scale fees and grants that will help cover those that have severely low income, we might also find that there are people that need it just as much and might benefit more from it who just can't afford it. And so part of the things that we address in core problem number 5 is, of course, trying to make sure that these programs are affordable and accessible. And one of the things that you might also want to consider in this is transportation. Transportation, when it comes to the social service field, is always an issue for clients. So be sure that when you look at policies that you include, well, how can we make it so that clients can actually get here to get their services? Okay, next. Increasing the scope and effectiveness of mental health programs. So while mental health has its own core sector, the issue of mental health cuts across all 8 core sectors. So this is a core problem that each of them have to deal with. So this is where we address the stigma or barrier to detecting mental health problems. I imagine you can think of all of the different ways in which this would be useful. What if we could identify and take care of mental health problems early? Would that not reduce the risk of mass shootings? Maybe it would. Maybe it wouldn't. We're not really sure yet. But I think it's a good start, and the mentally ill are a group I tend to care for a great deal. And so anytime we can increase the scope and effectiveness of mental health programs, it's important. But you would find that that's an issue in the gerontological sector just as much as it is in criminal justice, just as much as it is in the global sector. All of those things matter. Finally, core problem number 7 is making social programs more relevant to households and communities. We have this unfortunate disconnect, and the way I typically describe it is that college and university is a suburb of reality. We like to look at it from afar in our nice little comfortable place, but we're not actually always in touch with what is really going on in people's lives. I'm going to post a TED Talk that I'd like you to watch that will go along with this, that will show just how much do we really understand in terms of our services, and how much of that actually goes towards the clients and making sure that the services that we provide are actually what the clients want and what the clients need, as opposed to what we think they want and what we think they need, right? We identify problems in the academic world very differently than people do in the real world. And so it's worth making sure that we do our best to make sure that our social programs are more relevant to those households and communities. Anyways, this wraps up this first part of our lesson. So be sure to read the questions and do the discussion that follows. And then, of course, respond to one of your peers. Thanks. We'll see you in the next one.